Okay, welcome back to another catch up with Michael Baker from Custom Bike Fit. We're getting close to the race. Hervey Bay is Sunday week, so we're only 9 days away from the race and things are going well in terms of the program. So today with Michael, we're going to have a chat about a couple of things. The first one is the difference between being tired and fatigued, and that'll have some relevance as to why we're talking about that, because we've certainly added some stress to Michael's program. And then connection. So the athlete having a form of connection and ownership to the program, which is really important. So they're the two things we wanted to cover off on today. So firstly, Mick, thanks for joining us again, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
It's good. So obviously in the last couple of weeks, especially, excuse me, we've added a little bit more volume, a little bit more intensity to your program. So it's putting more stress on your body. And overall, you are coping with that. But just tell us generally how you're feeling at the moment with your training.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm tired. That's the first thing. I really, and I'm looking forward each day to getting into bed and getting some sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And, when the alarm goes off, I could quite easily stay in there, but I'm pulling myself out. And I've actually made a conscious decision to get my first session of the day done. Well, if it's a bike, I'm generally out early, but I was letting the swim push out. I was letting work take preference. I'm like, no, I've got to get to the pool early and get it done. And then at least that's psychologically one session done. So I'm feeling, overall, I feel good in the water. I feel strong. I feel strong on the bike, and my running, again, I'm not overly quick, but I feel like I'm more efficient. I'm actually running better. It takes me maybe half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour to just kind of come good. Heavy legs, then I kind of come good. And I'm feeling better the longer those runs go. So generally, yes, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive about the race. I think I've prepared well, done everything I can do. Yeah.
Okay. So, you said you're feeling tired, so you're looking forward to going to bed, and not long after your head hits the pillow, you're probably asleep, and,
Yes.
the alarm goes off, and it's too easy to sometimes roll over and go back to sleep, which is completely normal.
Yes.
And these are signs that we're under a reasonably heavy load. And, you just made a comment about how, often you'll start the session specifically in a run and you'll be a bit heavy, but then you'll come good. And that's a sign of being tired, that generally you start sessions, you're a bit flat, it's not easy, but then once you get into it, you come good. And that's okay. That level of tiredness is okay. The difference where some people go wrong is fatigue. So, and that's why I wanted to highlight that what you're going through is completely normal, especially as you get closer to the race, in those, final weeks leading into the race before you start to freshen up, is when the load is at its heaviest. So things like being tired, starting sessions, not feeling that great, but coming good, getting to sleep pretty easy. And then, also when the alarm goes off, not wanting to get up, that's all completely normal, which is good. Where we would change things is if you're fatigued. So some of the signs around fatigue include, your training performance doesn't come good. So you start a session, but you don't come good. The performance just continues to decrease. The heavy legs don't go away. The times in the pool you can't hold. The strength that you're feeling, that overall perception that you're feeling fitter, doesn't happen. So have you had any signs of fatigue at all?
No, not really. I mean, there's the session that I did in the pool on Wednesday, which ended up being, the main set was 2100s. I was, I'm thinking through those, Jesus Christ, this is going to be tough. And obviously we broke it down into 4x5. But I was quite surprised that even though I'm feeling this, I'm tired, I'm hitting the wall and it's the same time. I'm hitting the wall and it's the same time. It's uncomfortable, but I'm still being able to repeat it. And, I think also for me, I've picked up on this mantra. I saw there's actually Renee Kiley on one of her Instagram posts. She put down, carrying water, chopping wood.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what I say to myself when I'm riding and when I'm running. I'm just like chopping wood, chopping wood,
yeah,
chopping wood.
yeah,
And I know that things are, I'm familiar with the feeling is things are going to get better. And it's a kind of nice to have that, almost that mental and physical battle, because I know I'm going to have it a couple of times at least on race day.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
To be able to go back there and say, hey, this isn't unfamiliar. You know about this.
Mm.
Just hang in there, put the reins on,
Yep.
things will come good.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, look, and that familiarity breeds confidence, and those
yeah,
little mind battles or tests that we go through in training are perfect, because if you're going through them in training, when it happens on race day, because it does happen on race day, as you say, you can draw back to those times in training where you've had to go, well, actually, no, hang on a minute, I've been here. This is all part of the process. So it's having that ability to recognize what's happening and then put a process around it. And if you've done that in training, that's perfect. And that's a sign that you're a very experienced athlete. You've been in this situation many times before. And the unfortunate thing about training is it's a little bit boring at times as well, which can create a challenge in itself. So you did a session 20 by 100, but we broke it up into blocks of 4. So 5 by 100, short rest, 5 by 100, short rest, 5 by 100. And the goal is to maintain consistent times. And, old school coaching was that you get in there and you do 20 by 100, bang. But just breaking up into blocks of 4, you're still going to get the same training adaptation, but by having a little bit more rest, and you also being a masters athlete, we need to look at, okay, you've got to be able to back up the next day. So, it's about, as a coach, you've got to say, well, what are the goals that we need Michael to achieve? But then also, how do we get him to achieve that without breaking him? And that's the point where we're at now. We are stressing your body physically a lot, but it's good to see that mentally you're going through some really good processes to help you on race day. So that's really good. So I wanted to also touch on a little bit now around connection and ownership to the process. So as human beings, if we want to do something well, we've got to have a sense of connection to it. There's got to be a sense of ownership about what we're doing. So I'm writing you a program. You've entrusted me to write you a program that's going to get you fit for race day. And as part of that program, you're following it. But at the end of the day, you own the process. So let's just talk about on Monday, I had a session down. It was an endurance swim and it was 5 by 800. What did you change it to and why?
I changed it to 4, and I changed this as I was swimming. I changed it to 4 by 1,000, so 4 by 1 kilometer.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being, I got in the water and pretty much straight away I was feeling good. I just felt like I was in a rhythm, and I knew that obviously the outcome of the session is endurance. I'm building endurance, and we've been building those sets longer and longer each week. And so for me, on race day, I'm going to be swimming 2 kilometers non-stop. It makes sense. I'll keep the same rest interval. I'll keep the same intensity. I'll do the same distance, but I'll just have a little bit less. Rather than doing it in 5 blocks, I'll do it in 4. And I'm conscious also, even though it's a small thing, I'm conscious of the amount of time it's taking me because there's somewhere I need to be at the end of that session because I've got something else I need to do.
And look, that is a perfect example of you as an athlete taking ownership of the process. I'd given you a session, but you having that experience to say, well, hang on a minute, I can change this to 1K and we'll still get the same outcome. And as a coach, I think that's fantastic. Sometimes where athletes can go wrong is they go, oh no, coach said I have to do this, so I'm going to do this. And it might have been in reverse. You might not have been feeling that great. But oh no, it's on the program, so I must do it. And that's where athletes can often go wrong. Instead of listening to their body and saying, well, okay, I'm not feeling it today, I'm going to back off. Instead of doing 5 by 800, I'm just going to do 3. And I'm going to do it a lot easier because I'm listening to my body. You were listening to your body and it was saying, feeling pretty good today. Let's just extend it a little bit and do 1K instead of 800. So that's a perfect example of, 1, you listening to your body, but 2, taking ownership of the process. Like it's a joint venture between you and I, but at the end of the day, it's about you and what you want to achieve. I'm just here to assist. And I think athletes need to have that sense of ownership and responsibility. And it goes back, you think anything in life, when you feel that sense of ownership and connection to the process, you're going to get a much better result. You know, so that was a really good example of you doing it in a positive way. So on the other side, have there been sessions that you've done where you haven't felt as good and you've changed it?
Yeah, I'm in the strength session. Now that we've upped it again.
Yeah.
And it's, 10 push-ups, 10 squats, 10 lunges, another 10 push-ups, prone holds. And actually with the prone holds, I'm doing, plank, normal plank, and then the left, and then the right. So I've extended that out as well. Yeah. And 15 times through, I get to 10. I'm like, so I have been. Last week, I thought that's enough. I'm like, I've done enough. This was on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
And on the Wednesday, because of the weather here, I ran on the treadmill. So I was in a gym, and I finished my run. I thought, I'm going to do the other 5 sets now. So in the main, I have done well. There isn't a session that I've missed. We're 7 weeks in now, and that's important to me. Not just from a perspective of what's been prescribed. I've been doing this so long, triathlon. I'm in 28, 29 years. 92 was the first triathlon I did. And it's easy for me to fold for myself. Does that make sense? Yep. It's just about me. I've got nothing to prove. I've been doing this so long. I don't care if I'm, do you know what I mean? Yeah, but I'm conscious of the fact that you're a part of the process, right? And I remember Ironman WA in 2000. Last Ironman I did 2017, and you were there, and it was bloody hot.
Hot. There was a bike run when they cancelled the swim.
They cancelled the swim.
Yeah.
And Anne was there, and Anne had been helping me with my long runs. Every Sunday morning, she gave up to ride next to me to hand me bottles in my training. And I remember being out on the run, and there was so many
it's opportunities
to pull the pin. Yeah. And every time I turned the corner, there was another athlete that I saw had walked off the course. But I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this because Anne gave up her weekends for me. And I feel that about you. So on race day, it's like, I can't let Mark down. That's it. I mean, and that will help me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a sense of accountability.
Yeah.
So you've set a goal and you've asked me to help you, but I'm giving you a sense of accountability as well. And that has come because I think I'm invested in your process and I want to see you do well. So it's a combined vision, because on race day, I'll be like, okay, hope he's going well. And I'll be looking online and the results and all that sort of stuff. And that's the ideal scenario where you get a partnership working together. It's a collaborative effort. So there's a lot of good messages around here, and essentially none of them have anything to do with the actual training. The training is only one small part of it. There's so much else to it. And it's it's you having the understanding, it's you having a connection, a sense of ownership, and then a sense of accountability. And above all, you feel as though you're making progress in the right direction, which is what's happening. So, we're 9 days out from the race. Things are looking good. Obviously, we've got 3 or 4 more days this week where it's pretty solid. You get a solid weekend. And then next week is about freshening up. I don't like to use the word taper so much. It's really about freshening up and shedding the fatigue from the body so that come race day, the adaptations and the work that you've done will bear fruit. And that's really what we're working towards. So we might look at touching base maybe when you're in Hervey Bay pre-race and some of your thoughts pre-race as to, where you're at and just how you're feeling mentally. And then obviously a post-race chat.
Yeah, I think that'll be, and for next week, it's Hervey Bay is not just about the race for me. This is the thing. It's a busy time. I have to get up really early on Friday morning to drive to Hervey Bay, because then I do bike fits on Friday, and I'm fitting till late generally. And then on Saturday, it's my partner Anne is doing the barge to beach, so there's an element of supporting her. And then there's the expo, which lasts all day, and you're standing out on your feet in the sun. And you have to pack everything up. You don't get any training done, or very hard to.
Yeah.
And then say you've got a race. So,
and that's really crucial in that we have to factor that into the preparation in terms of, so that on race day, we've taken that into account to say, well, okay, what training do we do next week, knowing that Friday and Saturday are going to be pretty busy, full-on days for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, it's been good to catch up. It's nice that things are going well. I've really enjoyed this process, actually, of just catching up and hearing how you're going, because it's a different experience for me. You're one of the few athletes that doesn't use Training Peaks. You're very old school in terms of just knowing your body, so that's a really good thing as well. And there's a lot of take homes there for new athletes, that you don't always have to rely on the data to know how you're feeling. Just listen to your body. So that's probably the biggest message for today's video: is listen to what your body's telling you, trust your intuition, and familiarity breeds confidence. Good work, mate. Keep it up.
Thank you. Cheers.